What are you as the South African police force doing about this?
I believe it's confidential information right now. Which
some of the things, they might be technical.
We're charging you.
What evidence have you gathered in terms of this Madanga Commission?
They have little influence over who gets nominated as mayoral candidates.
There's so many allegations going on. Some people say it's hearsay, some people say it's true.
To be quite frank as well, I'm not the man's lawyer. I'm not here to speak for him at all.
Hello and welcome to See Africa. I'm your host, Lucy Siwe, and this is the show that keeps you up to date with the world's current affairs. Today we're going to be looking at the developments that have been happening in the Iran strike as well as the Middle Eastern war. Today, we are going to be looking at major developments in the war involving Iran, Israel, and the United States. Reports have confirmed that missiles have been launched towards Qatar, targeting areas connected to the United States military operations in the region. This raises an important question. What happens when a conflict that began between a few countries starts to pull more nations across the Middle East? It might feel far away, but the ripple effects could affect energy markets, trade routes, as well as daily lives across Africa. In this segment, we're going to explore what happened. Let's start with the facts. Missiles were launched in Iran towards Qatar, targeting areas connected to the military infrastructure. One of the key locations to this was the Al Udeid Air Base, which is the largest United States military base in the Middle East. Thousands of United States troops are stationed there, and it serves as a command center for the military's operations across the region. Qatar has confirmed that some of these missiles were intercepted by air defenses. However, some of the falling debris injured civilians and raised concerns about conflict spreading beyond Iran and Israel into other parts of the Middle East. So the big question is this: in this retaliation, is it a warning or is it the beginning of a wider regional conflict? Let's explore as to why Qatar matters. To understand why this matters, we need to understand the strategic importance of Qatar. Qatar is a small country in the Persian Gulf, but it plays an enormous role in global energy markets and in international diplomacy. It is one of the largest exports of natural gas in the world. That means countries across Europe, Asia, and Africa rely on its energy supply. It is also home to the Al Udeid Air Base, which supports operations in several countries, including Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. Because of this, Qatar sits at the center of the regional security dynamics. So when missiles were launched towards Qatar, it is a signal to the entire international community that the conflict may be expanding. So there are escalation risks attached to this war. Wars rarely stay contained once more countries get involved. When attacks reach nations that host foreign military forces, the risk escalation grows. If Qatar feels directly threatened, it could respond in several ways. It could increase the military cooperation with allies, strengthen air defense systems, or push for international diplomatic intervention. At the same time, Iran may view these strikes as a part of a broader strategy to challenge the military pressure in the region. This creates a cycle of retaliation and counter-retaliation. History has shown that cycles like this can escalate very quickly. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we get into why Qatar is so important in this conflict and we unpack more. For more on such content pieces on current affairs and other African content, you can visit our website at www.seeafrica.tv and purchase our See Africa TV stick for just $999 and gain unlimited access as well as no subscription to this content.
3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
From
sports to spirit, documentaries to dance, the See Africa Stick brings every story to your screen. Hundreds of channels, one device, no limits, just pure streaming freedom. Plug it in, power it up, play what moves you. Now available for you to purchase. Order now from www.seeafrica.tv.
Let's talk about some of the global implications. If we look at the developments, this could affect the world as well as Africa. The first thing that it could affect is definitely the energy markets. Welcome back to What If See Africa. I'm still your host, Busisiwe, and this is the show that keeps you up to date with the world's current affairs. So we are having a look at Qatar being at the center of this war that has broken out in the Middle East. Let's talk about some of the global implications. If we look at the developments, this could affect the world as well as Africa. The first thing that it could affect is definitely the energy markets. When instability spreads across the Gulf, oil and gas prices often rise because investors fear that there will be supply disruptions. The second thing that could be affected by this war is definitely the shipping and the trade routes. The Gulf sits close to Strait of Hormuz, which is one of the most important maritime corridors. About 1/5 of global oil shipments pass through this area. Disruptions here could affect the trade worldwide. The third is the geopolitical implications. If more countries become involved, this conflict could transform from a regional war into a much larger international crisis. You might be wondering why this matters here in Africa. The reality is that global economies are deeply connected. High oil prices affect fuel costs across African countries. High transportation costs affect food prices. Shipping disruptions affect imports from medicines to technology. Many African economies heavily rely on international trade. When routes become unstable, the ripple effects are felt in thousands of kilometers away. Even though the conflict is far geographically, its consequences are very real. Conflicts like this remind us how interconnected the world truly is. A missile was launched in one of the regions that can affect energy markets, economies, and political stability across the continent. Understanding these events will help us see the bigger picture and prepare for changes that may come. And that is how we wrap up today's show. Please let us know how the war has indirectly or directly affected you, as well as what you foresee coming in the future. This is What If See Africa, and for more content like this on current affairs, be sure to visit our website at www.seeafrica.tv to purchase our See Africa TV stick for no subscription and unlimited access for just $999. Until next time, stay safe and stay informed.